Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and with me, of course, is Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for your wave. It was lovely. Everyone
We should
enjoyed
just
it.
put that in the title
That's
so
just
people don't get confused.
wave. This is wave. This is Wave Notes 4.8, also known as Patch Notes, and it is Patch 4.8. And what we're gonna do is talk about the patch and go over the patch. And it's not a very long patch, so this one's not going to take an hour like some of the other ones. But we're going to go ahead and cover these patch notes in depth, let you know what is happening, see if anything important is happening. So let's go past the introduction. There's what's coming. General changes. We've invested a few cases where turret aggro was behaving inconsistently. These changes should address most issues. Champions can no longer drop turret aggro by entering stealth or using their summoner spell Flash. Turret aggro can... Oh, I get it. Anyways, I was slow on that. They give you Flash while in it, but still in it. Like, it would break it because you blink like you're missing. It's fixed.
Yep.
Whatever, I get it. Turret aggro can now only be lost if a champion leaves the targeting range, dies, or enters a state of untargetability. Zonia's, at least repel, Vlad pool. Or
It's kind of just more silent Kha'Zix nerfs.
Fiora
now.
ulti.
Or oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it would it be?
It tries to keep targeting her, so it keeps switching focus.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's amazing for tanking towers because the tower's so confused it can't switch to anybody else either. So typically, until it switches to somebody else, and then it's just on them. But yeah. What do you mean silent nerf to Kha'Zix?
Because he's not gonna be able to
stealth?
jump in and alt anymore. Like he would just like alt into turret range, kill the target, and then alt again, and it would switch tower folk. So he could like drag.
Why was it
turret.
doing that?
I don't know. It's that's why they
so
probably
stupid.
fixed it.
Okay,
Like
I was
he-
gonna say
yeah.
it's dumb.
So that's why they did that. It wasn't like an every time thing, but occasionally it would happen.
Okay, that was dumb.
So,
all right, well, I'm glad
yeah.
they're fixing that. All right, well, then let's move on to our first champion who's getting some tweaks. It is Blitzcrank. Now, Blitzcrank, actually some good things happening for him. His Rocket Grab is getting a reduction in mana, 20 coming off that, so it's only 100 now. And then his Static Field also getting mana reduction by 50, going down to 100 mana, which I think are some decent changes. He could typically only Q
Twice.
at level 1, yeah, twice, and then he was out of mana. So this means he'll be able to maybe do 3.
Which is really, like, if you think about it, a little ridiculous considering that Thresh has essentially the same ability, but he can cast it like 7 times before it runs out of mana.
Yeah.
So, the much needed changes. Blitzcrank might see a little bump in playability, I guess, but
I actually don't know why people aren't playing him more because I think he actually fits currently quite well into the meta with item changes and other things. So I think he's actually been in a fine spot, and he's just been a little overshadowed. So maybe this will actually, like you said, bring him back up.
maybe because of these mana problems, maybe this is what they think will
He's fine.
bring him back.
Yeah. All right, next, it looks like we're getting some changes to Cho'Gath. His Feast, the range is actually going to be bumped up 25 on that, and the cast time's coming down to just 0.25 seconds, which is kind of nice because it's weird. Like, you eat people, and then you don't, and you're like...
Wait, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. So...
yeah, I think this is a really good change as well. Just quality of life change, actually. The range is really nice, but the 0.25 seconds is a lot better than the half a second that you needed.
Yeah, half
Because
second
you essentially needed to be melee range to start your bite, so people couldn't like get out of the bite. Almost.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. I mean, there's other weird things screwing with it. So it is a good change. Unfortunately, Cho'Gath's still in a weird spot for current meta. Still fun to play. Not always perfect for a team composition, though, is the only problem. Although, recently in an ARAM, I did discover he's quite amazing with Yasuo because it's a pretty easy knock-up in a team fight. So,
especially when they're all grouped in that single lane.
yeah. So, in that case, Cho'Gath has a little bit of viability with certain team compositions, but just overall as a champion right now, not really in a perfect spot, unfortunately. Next is Kha'Zix. His E, which is Evolved Wings, his evolved version. They fixed a bug where evolved wings had a longer cooldown than leap.
So
they tweaked it. So
yep. So now it'll be the same. So you won't get penalized for evolving your wings.
yeah, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
So
you get this better version of wings, but yet it's
Can't
not as good.
use it. Yeah, that's dumb. All right, so that's just a tweak. Kha'Zix really better for him. Next on the things to come is Malzahar. His Nether Grasp is getting a reduction in mana cost, going down 50 mana, only going to be 100 now. I'm going to go off on a side tangent. If you're playing Malzahar and you hit level 6, you know what you should probably do? Drop everything and murder the other mid laner. I've gone up against too many Malzahars lately that just like almost refuse to use this combo. Like, just combo somebody, kill him. It's almost a kill every time.
I think that the way that they need to get out, they're kind of doing it passively, but the way that they need to get out of this like mobility heavy mid laner meta that they're in right now is they need to make the other mid laners that don't have high mobility have so much more lane presence.
Yes.
Than they do. Like than the mobility ones do. And the problem is LeBlanc bullies everyone in lane. Kassadin can bully everyone in lane. Pretty much. So I think that this is kind of a step in the right direction, but we're going to need to see more out of it before the meta shifts away from those high mobility mid laners.
Kassadin's lane bowling is a little less now, though.
Because he doesn't have a bajillion-dollar shield.
Let alone, and because his silence was, that was a big bully, and because you couldn't exchange then. Mm-hmm. Another thing they are doing is, I talk about it tomorrow over on Curse.
Check it out.
In the league update on Curse for all league news you need. I talk about it over there for a split second, but somebody at Riot is looking into a rework for LeBlanc. So, that's probably still a ways off, but they're looking into changing her because as much as she's got a low win rate, if you get slightly ahead, she crushes. So they need to fix it. She just snowballs too hard. She's like old Akali.
I think win rates are a little deceiving though, because you'll see, like, I don't want them to shape the game after the LCS, but the LCS is the game played at the highest level. Yeah. So I understand why they do it. Yeah. But LeBlanc has a really low win rate in like.
I think it's because people don't play her
low.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not because people think that she's fine, and then you're like, no, her combination of what you can do is just absurd. Like, they could essentially, in my opinion, fix LeBlanc with a nerf to her ultimate, make the cooldown on it longer. I think that would actually help a ton because her combo's up every 20 seconds. Yeah, exactly. So, but I agree. They need to have some of these mid laners that are a little weak and have fallen off. They need to give them more presence in lane. They should be able to crush the lane itself if the other mid laner has tons of mobility, because that allows them to open themselves up to every other lane.
Yeah, and almost force the other mid laner to roam to pick up kills.
Yeah. If you're going to give them all that stuff. So that's what they should probably do. So we'll move on. Next, though, we have Pantheon. I
love these changes.
Slight change happening. It's pretty good. This actually went into the last patch. So it's actually been in for a patch, but they didn't say it. They said it slipped. Whatever. Basically, you can no longer cast a spell until you finish landing when you've ulted. So you can't come in and all of a sudden be on the edge of it because you stunned somebody on the edge of it, which I agree was kind of ridiculous. And
you basically just came down on them.
Yeah. So they have fixed that, and they fixed a bug fix on the animation of the damage now to match it or whatever. But and Pantheon will now visually land 0.5 seconds later.
I felt like that was the case like a couple days ago when I was playing Pantheon, but
it's weird. Yeah, no, because I think my new build was with that previous patch.
Yeah.
That I posted.
But it still feels slow.
Yesterday, whatever. But yeah, it was weird at first because you don't feel like. I mean, I don't think it ruins his kit. It just is something that needed fixed.
Yep.
So really, don't be super concerned about it. It's still fine.
If you're a Pantheon main, you can still play him.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people just ult with him wrong anyways. They put it in weird spots, but
like directly on top of someone, and all they have to do is walk out.
Yeah. You gotta trap him in certain.
Gotta lead him.
Lead the sheep to death. Next is
more great changes.
Raka. Exactly. I love this one. Star Call is getting damage reduction all across the board at early levels and at late levels. So that'll be helpful. And then it's Star Call hits an enemy. Arterial Blessings cooldown is reduced by a percentage. It actually scales upward now, which is kind of nice, I suppose, for that. And then another big change is her E, which is her Infuse. Now, the cost on that is now that it has a cost. It didn't have one previously, and so when you were using it against enemies, it was basically a free silence and damage because it didn't cost you anything. So why not constantly spam it if you are the solo mid Raka? So now it costs 50 mana at all levels.
I like the Q changes obviously because now when Soraka has 2 points in her Q and a Doran's ring, she won't be able to three-shot waves with Star Call.
Yeah, that's
So
just stupid.
it'll take her 4, I think, or 5 maybe, but she won't be able to just like
At
perma shove the
level
wave in.
3, I mean it's
Yeah.
so stupid.
So that's a really really good change, and they're trying to like change it a little bit so she gets back into more of a supporty role.
Yeah.
But I think she's still going to be played in the mid lane.
You probably could still play her in the mid, but it's gonna
Yeah.
it'll actually involve some skill.
Not just perma shove.
Yeah. So, and with the return on mana from killing minions with Doran's rings, like yeah, she could Star Call her way to, because it's super cheap to cast Star Call.
Yep.
So, good changes overall. If you were playing Rocket in the mid, you should have seen this coming.
We all did.
Yeah. And then finally, the last change to champions is going to actually be on Udyr. On his bear stance, it now actually has an indicator that shows the stun. It's on the bottom of their feet, and it goes around them. It looks pretty cool. I saw pictures of it. I haven't seen it in-game, obviously, because at the time of this, it's not live. But it looks nifty, and it should just be a good indication of the actual stun. Because it was a little hit or miss. Like, did I get stunned by Udyr? Like, what? Like, because in big, chaotic team fights,
Well, the stun's so short that, like, even for Udyr players, like you would cycle through everybody, and then you would hit that one person again, like the first person again, and it wouldn't stun them, and it would kind of screw you up. And if you would have just waited like,
half a second,
0.25 seconds, you could have stunned him again.
Yeah.
So I like that. You have to really know what you're doing with Udyr in order to like
stun at the max capacity.
Yeah, stun at the max capacity. So this is actually really helpful for just like the casual player.
Yeah, it's a good change. It's helpful for Udyr. Next, we had some minor bug fixes, starting with Nami Aqua Prison fixed a bug where Aqua Prison could interrupt certain abilities when they intended to be immune by disabling effects on like Jarvan Cataclysm or Malphite's Unstoppable Force, which is hilarious because I've seen Unstoppable Force get stopped by multiple things.
Yeah.
And it says, like, in the tooltip, it's like, it cannot be stopped by anything.
It's in the name.
Yeah. It's like...
Unstoppable Force.
Yet I've seen it stopped, so...
And you got stopped by a bubble.
Bloop. Rocks don't like water, don't you know that?
This is actually, you have to be super talented to catch a Malphite in his ult.
Or super
like Jarvan
lucky.
in his... Yeah, or like, catch Jarvan in his ult. But, like, I think that the really high-level players could probably... do it 3 out of 10 times or something.
Yeah, probably.
And it would probably take away a little bit of her usage, I guess.
Probably a tiny bit. We don't see her too much nowadays, though.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any damage anymore. So
why is it? Here's a side question, since we're done with champions. Where are the Braum nerfs? Next person.
Yeah, no, somebody fill me in on that. I made my Braum full game. I didn't post a guide yet because I don't like making them immediately because I feel champions are super broken. Just because I can. We're going to go to Lol King quick. We're going to go to champions so nobody can see that I'm not making things up. And we're going to go to win rate. Oh, did he go down? Oh, no, that's the backwards side.
Braum is 4th.
Braum is the 4th highest win rate.
And he's a 72% ban rate, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so to anybody who still thinks Braum's balanced, no one should be able to play a champion to that percentage of win rate immediately. Amumu's not even played and doesn't have a ban rate, and he's the highest. Like, that makes sense. Kale, recently people have figured out a new build. Ziggs, obviously been always a strong mid, but he's always had small nerfs. So
I don't think that, but I think a lot of that, I think it's kind of give and take with new champions, because I know at least in Diamond, like even when people haven't even played a champion, like played against or played a champion, they just ban it automatically because they don't know, like not only do they not know how to play it, but they don't know how to play against it. Yeah, so it's kind of a give and take for both sides, and I think that's why you see that super high ban rate. But in my opinion, Braum is a little bit too strong, and I think that's why he's getting banned, because people realized it. Like,
yes.
It's been, what, a week and a half since he's been out, and so I feel like that's a long enough to find out a play style that you can play around a champion, but he doesn't have that yet. So
he's one of the few supports I'd also say you can play in the jungle fairly effectively.
Yeah.
Which means his numbers might be a bit high. If he can do that, fine, because he can. And just another side note, I haven't played Braun a million times yet, but I've played him a dozen or so. I have yet to lose. So
super fun.
Yeah.
But it's because you just crush people in the
Yeah,
ground.
he just does. He's super fun, and I hate to see him nerfed because I think he's super fun, but it's stupid. I don't want to go up against it. Yeah, nerf him, right? Thanks. Okay, bye. Sejuani is next. Honor Q. Arctic Assault fixed a bug where Arctic Assault would stop on collision with, but failed to knock back really large enemies, such as Cho'Gath at 6 stacks, or Zac if he's at full HP. So basically large champions, which is kind of odd.
But at the same time, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a big board, dog. It should always work.
Yeah.
So
it's a big board. You're getting rammed. You better pop up. Twisted Tree Line. Team Builder.
Is that just Twisted Tree Line?
Yeah, it's just Twisted Tree Line.
Team Builder. Team Builder. Wins and losses are now added to normal wins and losses. Captains and Team Builder can now grant invite powers to their friends. Finally.
Which is awesome. Good job, Riot.
Yeah, that was a desperate change that was needed. And then finally.
Oh, gosh.
Erp Kerming skins.
They both look super cool, but they're both like for champions that I just don't play.
Holy cow, this is huge.
Zoom out. Control scroll.
I know. I work control scroll. There it is. All right, there's the thin
Blade Queen.
She does look cool. It's really funky. I do like the art though to it. And then River Spirit and I.
This is another thing, like that Dragon Slayer Pantheon skin. They released like a short video, just kind of like previewing it, and it looked like garbage.
Terrible.
And like in like 2 days, they came out with the same video, and it was like completely different.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's them releasing it or somebody hacking the files and only.
It could be, I guess. Yeah,
that might be part of it. But yes, I agree. Pantheons did look better upon release. Although I still maintain the splash art itself is way cooler than the skin.
Oh yeah, I think that it would be hard to make a skin that was that cool because the splash art was really, really well done.
I mean, the wings are nifty when he jumps in and such, but like, you're the only one ever seeing it. Which is, I mean, it's cool, but you're the only one ever seeing it. But
isn't that what the effects of skins are for? It's for personal gratification.
I mean, it kinda, but there's certain skins you play just because you want the enemy team to see it. Or like, I mean, like Noe plays like Nunu bot just for them. They're taunt laughing constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm spamming recall when I play Pool Party Renekton because duh.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of this constantly. Yeah. But that is patch notes for 4.8. It's not a huge patch. There's some nice changes in here though. The Soraka change is nice. The Malzahar thing's cool, whatever. Just a lot of small tweaks. Blitzcrank's more viable now if you want to play more Blitz.
Obviously, the changes aren't huge, but I think they wanted to give Super Week and then another week to see how this patch or like 4.7 kind of plays out in the LCS.
Yes.
Because that's why they didn't do a whole bunch of changes. But I feel like 4.9 will be a bigger patch than this.
Yeah, 4.9 will be
substantially.
What patch are they on in LCS? Are they on 4.7?
They're on 4.7.
Are they actually Braum?
Are they on 4.6?
They gotta be on 4.6. I don't think they're on the Braum patch.
They disable the new champions up until the next cycle. So like Braum won't be available until they're on 4.8.
Okay.
Because he came out in the middle.
I was gonna say they're just gonna play Braum. I mean,
well, he's constant.
Well, he's gonna be banned. You know.
Oh, you mean you've never played this champion in solo queue?
Well,
Ban.
He's just gonna be I hate it though when they get to that point and it's
like
blatantly
Cassidy?
obvious. Yeah, like a champion's too strong, and then they're just constantly banned. I mean, yeah, Cassidy had a 98% ban rate. Of course,
it's basically a free. Like it's an advantage to the team that picks second, or like the advantage to the team that picks first, because the team that picks second automatically has to ban it.
Yeah, or else it'll get
it's almost
first
like LeBlanc is.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. But that is patch 4.8. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you have any, I don't know, ideas, thoughts, opinions, any of those things, you can put them down in the comments. And yeah, then you can all argue at each other because it seems to be what happens on the internet. But until next time, y'all have fun out there on the fields of justice. We'll see you later.
Thanks for joining us for Wave Notes.
Wave Notes 4.8.
4.8. It's 48 waves.
I'm not doing 48 waves.